How's it going, guys? ZombiewarsSMT here, and welcome back to the review. And today I want to basically discuss something about Fazbear, and I want to talk about how Fazbear and Golden Freddy's correlations are nowhere attached to each other whatsoever. Now, the first thing I wanted to bring up is that, as you all know, Fazbear is believed to be Golden Freddy because the Golden Freddy is a spring-lock animatronic. However, people forget for some reason that Fredbear's Family Diner and Fazbear Entertainment are two completely different companies. And two is that Golden Freddy wasn't even in the same building, or at least from what we've seen, we're not in the same building as the spring-lock animatronics were added in the first ever Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria. If you guys remember in the 5 minutes 33 phone calls on the second night in the audio tapes, phone guy says, quote unquote, hello. Welcome to your new career as a performer / entertainer for Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. These tapes will provide you with much needed information on how to handle / climb out of / climb into and out of animatronic costumes. Right now, we have two specially designed suits that double as both animatronics and suits. Which, if you guys do not know, Phone Guy is referring to the 5 Minutes Freddy's 3 minigame, in which you see both what appear to be Springtrap and Golden Freddy. Which means that, well, Golden Freddy cannot be Fazbear if it was not in Fredbear's Family Diner, making Golden Freddy the first ever Freddy Fazbear. Besides, in the custom night in 5 Minutes Freddy's 2, Golden Freddy's name is literally, well, Golden Freddy. Now, while analyzing the phone calls too, this is something that many people actually seem to forget somehow, is that people have thought that, well, the Spring Freddy, which is Golden Freddy, and the Springtrap had multiple spring lock failures. Now, I want you guys to listen to the night 4 phone call in 5 minutes 33 from Phone Guy. Hello. There's been a slight change of company policy concerning the use of suits. Don't. After warning of an unfortunate incident at a sister location involving multiple simultaneous spring lock failures, the company has deemed these suits temporarily unfit to employees, which means that Spring Freddy and Springtrap, from what we saw in the minigame, the Stage 1 minigame, has never had spring lock failures. It was only from the other location, and they didn't use these suits to basically prevent it from, well, happening if it ever does at this location. This is also probably the reason into why we have two variations of Golden Freddy, one of which looks all withered up, being the one that had spring lock failures, and one of them not being withered up whatsoever, being the one that did not have any spring lock failures. Now, not only is that interesting, but I also want you to notice how he says a sister location too, meaning that there are many Freddy Fazbear pizzas that we don't know about, because he's actually referring to a very simultaneously different versions of each Freddy Fazbear pizza, making that there's only more than what we've already seen, is basically what it's rendered down to. Now, on night 5 of 5 Minutes Freddy's 3, I want you to listen to this part of the phone call where Phone Guy says something about a new policy of the safe room where animatronics can't go in. And it says here, the safe room is reserved for equipment and other property not being currently used, and is in fact a safety location for employees only. This is not a break room and should not be used and considered a place for employees to hide and or congregate. And if you guys do not know what congregate means, it means a mass of people. Anyways, continue on from this. It says, and under no circumstance should a customer ever be taken into this room and out of the main show area. Now, I'm just curious here, why does Phone Guy not want anything, whatever happens, nobody to go in this room? That's just a question I have. Even employees who have been warned not to use the suits, if they are hidden in here, they've been already warned not to use these suits, so there's obviously something that Phone Guy is hiding here that we're not told about. Alright, now, remember when I said about that sister location previously? Now, I want you to listen from this quote by Phone Guy. This is just to inform all employees that due to budget restrictions, that previous mentioned safe rooms are being sealed at most locations. Most. Including this one. Now, when he says most, that means not every single one of them were boarded up. Keep that in mind. Not every single one were boarded up. And by most, which means that there were more than 2. Which, because as you all know, most means that there has to be more than 2. Because you don't use most if you're only comparing 2 things. So it can be 3, it can be 4, it can be 5. more Freddy Fazbear's pizzas that we haven't seen in the past before. So that's another interesting thing to point out as well. Now, in this phone call where he says most locations, this is on nightmare mode. Now, we still don't know why it's called nightmare mode, but a returning theme for 5 Nights at Freddy's 4 is the phrase nightmare. Most locations. Nightmare night. 5 Nights at Freddy's 4 teasers are a nightmare. A little bit, well, suspicious, you ask me. Maybe this phone call can relate to 5 Nights at Freddy's 4 somehow. Alright, and before I end off the video with my various couple of points I have for you guys, is the night 6 phone call in 5 Nights at Freddy's 2 where phone guy says basically that the place has been closed down for a while and someone used one of the suits, and that they had a spare one in the back and a yellow one. Now, there's one thing I've noticed here is that phone guy never said the building itself was new. And keep in mind that he did in fact say that the cameras weren't on where the boarded up rooms were, and that, well, the animatronics were inside of them boarded up. Now, those places were not necessarily closed down, the ones that got boarded up. They were just boarded up, and some of them were closed down. So, was it possible that 5 Nights at Freddy's 2, that location, had a history before the toy animatronics? And that's why the toy animatronics miraculously came out of nowhere. Is beforehand, it was a Freddy Fazbear pizza with the withered animatronics at the same very location. And even before that, the spring animatronics. And it went from the spring animatronics to the withered animatronics to, well, the FNAF 2 animatronics in that same exact building. Because like I said, Phone Guy also brings up the mention of the fact that if you notice the quirky new design of the building, or actually the retro design of the building, he basically says that, and out of nowhere, it's like it's out of nowhere, like it's a new change of the building, almost like as if the building got updated to look more, I guess you can say, new and innovational. So, what do you guys think about that one? Do you guys think that the 5 Nights at Freddy's 2 location is, well, an old location at the same time, just, well, rebuilt and basically decorated? So, anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, and if you are new to my channel, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Have an amazing day.